This is KHQA News at 5. It's your news now.
Everybody was just waving and hollering and running out the door and everything, and the student shot the teacher, and all of a sudden the student shot himself.
Another shooting, this time in St. Louis. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for KHQA News at 5. I'm Raja Maples. Tonight's top story, a shooting at a St. Louis college has left 2 people in critical condition. Reports from KMOV say that a student walked into the Stevens Institute of Business and Arts, that's a downtown St. Louis school, and shot an administrator before turning the gun on himself at around 2 o'clock today. Police say the student entered a 4th-floor office and shot a longtime faculty member in the chest. He then shot himself. Both the suspect and the victim were transported to SLU Hospital in critical condition, but they are expected to survive. About 40 students who were at the school were immediately evacuated from the building. St. Louis's police chief says the suspect had been a part-time student at the school for the past 4 years. Vice President Joe Biden has sent his recommendations for curbing gun violence to President Barack Obama. The president will announce his review of Biden's findings tomorrow, but he'll need lawmakers' help to pass some gun control measures. Danielle Nottingham reports from Washington.
First, let me give honor and praise to God.
Religious leaders gathered in Washington to pressure Congress to pass new gun control laws.
These laws work. Gun violence prevention laws work, and we need to enact them.
President Obama will roll out his plan to tackle gun violence Wednesday. Children who wrote letters after the Newtown school shooting will be with him when he makes the announcement.
Newtown, Connecticut is a wake-up call to elected officials to do better for this country, and I believe that there is will out there to take on comprehensive reform.
The president will push a ban on both assault weapons and high-capacity ammo magazines, as well as expanded background checks for gun purchases. President Obama will need lawmakers' approval for those measures, and new gun laws have been a tough sell here on Capitol Hill. Tuesday, Republicans led a reading of the Constitution on the House floor.
The right of the people to keep and bear arms.
Many gun rights advocates say gun laws do nothing to stop violence.
It's illegal to have all the guns that are killing people in Chicago. If gun control works, Chicago ought to be safe.
At this Northern Virginia gun range, many gun owners do support expanding background checks.
I think background checks is a good idea. We need to do better background checks for people who shouldn't have access to guns.
President Obama is also weighing steps he can take to curb gun violence without lawmakers' approval. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Washington.
Now, some of the president's proposals are expected to address mental health care, school safety, and violent video games. As President Obama weighs in on gun violence, gun owners are wiping out the inventory at local gun shops. KHQA's Brooke Hash checked in with one local gun shop who's having to turn people away.
Clive Cordy owns the Gun Fun Firearms Shop at 24th and Cherry here in Quincy. He says gun sales have doubled just in the last 3 weeks. Many people who came in today were disappointed to find empty shells and little ammunition. Cordy says most of the guns in his shop would fall under President Obama's assault weapons ban if passed.
Any semi-automatic handgun with a large capacity magazine in it, that seems to be the popular thing right now.
To buy guns has caused stores to put people on a waiting list. Clive Cordy says he'll visit with his manufacturers in the South in the next few weeks to see what he can bring back.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm live here in the Hannibal High School Gymnasium, where tonight the Hannibal Pirates will be playing starting at 7:30. But there's a special game that folks will be watching during halftime. I'm going to tell you all about it, and another event that you want to get signed up for right now to help out a wonderful cause coming up in just a little bit after the break. Right now, we'll talk about weather. A cold night last night. Temperatures ranging from 6 degrees in Macomb to 11 degrees in Quincy. We're looking for another chilly night tonight. Some warmer weather ahead, though. We'll talk about it coming up right after the break.